Hello and welcome to another Writerly Witterings, but this is a different one because it's summer, so I've got a beer. And I'd run out of ideas, so I'm going to go through some of the questions people have been sending through to me in the last little while. The Morris Rabbit is here, but the rest of the Morris team isn't. This is a Sunday. They're all dancing in the Channel Islands and I'm here at my desk working, just for you lot. Typical, isn't it? Also, I hope you like the new chair. Very good new chair. It works extremely well. And questions. People have asked me. First one came from Angela, and she wanted to know, how do you deal with perfectionism? That's a difficult one. Basically, if you're writing, every book you're writing is your baby at that time, and you really want it to be as good as you possibly can make it. I'm currently going through the third edit on my latest book, and it's amazing because you read through a book as soon as you've written it, and the first thing you pick up on is all the grammatical bits and the bits where you've repeated words and other things which just niggle. Second time you read through it, I find anyway, is when you start seeing bits where you've got parts of the plot don't tie up, or you've got a character who appears. Once I had a character who miraculously reappeared after I'd killed him, which was a little bit embarrassing. So all those things come in the second reading, and then the third read through you tend to find that the story's bedded down, most of the grammar's okay, and you're reading it with a little bit more of a precise critical eye. But I tend to believe that after 3 runs through it, that's enough. If it's not good enough then to go to an editor, you really have got a problem. A lot of people do believe that they should stay with their book for months or even years. I don't really think that. A book is not one person's job. It tends to be much more of a collaborative project nowadays. So you will have input, agents will have input, editors will have input, copy editors will have input, and in my case my wife as well. And it does mean that you're trying to be more of a conductor of the different people who are involved than just a composer on your own. That's how I see it myself. So perfectionism isn't really an issue. I want to get the project done and dusted, mainly because I've always got 3 or 4 other projects that I want to get started on. As it stands right now, I'm very, very keen on another modern day spy thriller. I've got 2 modern day crime stories I want to write. I've got a series of short stories about Sir Richard de Wells I want to write. I don't have time to be stuck too much in this one. Okay, so that is that one. Then there's Mr. Schrader. I think it might be Jack Schrader, I'm not absolutely certain. That he said that he's got a question about the narrative voice. Sorry, Jim Schrader. He's got a question about narrative voice. Do you prefer the omniscient narrator or a changing POV, point of view? That's quite straightforward. I don't like a single omniscient narrator. I much prefer having a changing point of view. I like getting inside different people's heads and explaining what they're thinking, but without giving away absolutely everything about them. If you're an omniscient narrator, then you're taking much more of a godly view looking at people. I don't think that that works terribly well, not in my own experience, not in my not with my style of writing. I also don't particularly like the first person, although I'm having a bit of a play with that with some short stories I'm writing currently, so that's something I could have a go at. But I think having a single person talking who is a bit like Raymond Chandler's characters, you're getting in the mindset of one detective and he is really quite clever, although in Raymond Chandler's case it's more clever at getting beaten up than anything else. I'm not entirely happy with that. I'm much happier with writing things from each individual point of view and having more of an overview that way. So, I then had some questions from Volker Teska from Germany, and he said, he's asked me several questions actually, so I'm going to whittle through this lot fairly quickly. So, do I read a lot of historical fiction? Yes, I always have. What sort of area, what subjects? Anything. I'm a completely omnivorous reader. Do I have favourite authors? Yes, most certainly. One of the favourites would have to be George MacDonald Fraser. I think his Flashman series was superb, not just because it was very amusing and the way that he constructed the stories was fantastic, but because of the way he did a huge amount of research, and it shows. The author's notes are always fabulously detailed in his books, and I just love Flashman and the series. Do I get in touch with authors? I do get in touch with quite a lot. I mean, there's the Medieval Murderers guys. I'm in touch with quite a few crime writers too, so I am in touch with quite a lot of authors. But he then went on to say, do you exchange ideas? Ye gods, no. No. Authors keep hold of their ideas jealously as oysters keep hold of their pearls. No, we're not going to start sharing out ideas, because sharing out ideas means you're giving away you're giving away your little nuggets of gold to someone else. We don't do that. We like to keep hold of them. Did I have a clear picture of the period when I started writing? I had a fairly clear picture, but I think it's only after 20 odd years of writing about that period that I feel now fully comfortable with it. I can put things down on paper and I've got a really good gut feel whether it's right or wrong. Usually if it's wrong I'll make a note about it in the author's note to explain why I put that in, but that's just me. How did I develop my knowledge of the period? Just research, reading huge amounts. All this lot is my research wall. There's another wall over there with more research books. There's another bookcase there with research books. There's another bookcase over there with research books. I have an awful lot of material that I can draw on at any time. When I started writing, did I have any sort of training? Nope, I just wrote a lot as quickly as possible. Did writing come naturally? I guess so, because I write pretty much how I speak. Perhaps. What would be creative writing books and courses help? Did I need them? Nope, never went on any. I firmly believe that going on writing courses is much more a way of putting off that fateful day when you actually have to write your own and give it into an editor. In the same way, I don't have groups of people that I send copies of my books to before it goes to the editor. The first person to see it is the editor, after the agent. But I don't think creative writing courses actually help, except that they can give you contact with other authors who are doing very well, and that can help you get through to an editor. And finally, do I know what it would take for a different language, German in my case, to make it into the English speaking market? No. Basically the only thing you can do is get in touch with a good agent in Germany and make sure that they have contacts with a talent scout in the UK. There are firms who deal just as talent scouts. They're looking for foreign language books that they can bring over here. But in terms of how that actually works in the fine detail, I'm afraid I haven't got the faintest idea. I know how it goes in reverse. We've got talent scouts over here that deal regularly with my agents, and the agents are always putting ideas forward to them and they're sending it out into the ether hoping that someone's going to buy the idea. So I've got books sold in German, in Dutch, in French, in Italian, in all the main languages. But as to how they actually got there, the main thing I know is that I was given a bit of paper to sign by my agent and I signed it and a book appeared. I don't know. So that's all the questions. That was quick, wasn't it? It was only about 8 minutes. So now I'll go back to the essential bits of life. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you like it. Don't forget, if you've got any comments, stick them in a bit down there. If you've got, if you want to, hit the like button, because that means I know that people have been watching it. Share it, tell your friends about it, and hopefully somebody else will watch it as well. That'll be fun. And in the meantime, if you've got any questions that you'd like to have answered, send them in. I can't guarantee I'll answer them all next week, but I will get round to them as soon as I can. So apart from that, thanks very much for watching and speak to you soon. Cheers.